Hello everybody, I'm Xander. Thank you so much for joining me for another custom mock showcase. Today, we're going to be looking at Zuckuss and Forlom's starship, the Mist Hunter. Now, of course, this is mostly from Legends continuity, just keep that in mind. And this is a very interesting ship. This is actually the first of the Bounty Hunter ships that I actually designed. I didn't quite build it from scratch, but it's very special to me, and we'll get started with the ship here. Now, before we look at the actual mock itself, this is a custom creation, by the way. And before we do that, we'll actually take a look at the two minifigures, which are quite awesome. Of course, you get the Bounty Hunter Zuckuss, as well as his partner Forlom. And here they are. I'll move the ship out of the way really quickly, so we can talk about these two minifigures. They are really awesome. We got Forlom on the right in 2017. He comes in two sets currently, the Bounty Hunter Speeder Bike Battle Pack, as well as Slave 1 20th Anniversary Edition. And he's pretty awesome. We'll talk about him first. He has an exclusive head mold just to his character here, with his big bulbous eyes. He is a protocol droid, and he's a very awesome character. He does have a standard Lego blaster rifle in black as his accessory. He does have gunmetal gray as his main base color for his body and torso and legs. He does have very rusted paintwork on his torso and legs there. He's kind of an old protocol droid. He has some exposed power cables, a red symbol on his torso, and he also has some rusted details. Very detailed figure all around, and you can see his eyes there. And some copper and gray printing, and he does have a breathing apparatus. His head mold is actually made from light silver. He does have back printing, and there it is. Pretty detailed figure all around. He was one of the 6 bounty hunters we were missing until 4 years ago in 2017. We finally got him, and he was exclusive to the Bounty Hunter Battle Pack, but now he appears in the new Slave 1. So that's Forlom. He's an awesome figure. He's one of my personal favorites. Same with Zuckuss. Now, let's talk about Zuckuss. He is also, well, he's exclusive only to one set. He comes in one set, Slave 1, 20th Anniversary Edition, same as Forlom. These two are partners, basically. They're a tag team. They travel around the galaxy looking for jobs together. And the reason why Forlom looks so similar to Zuckuss is because the droids, the Elam species that Forlom belongs to, the droids that Forlom are, they actually work with Gand aliens like Zuckuss, and he's a Gand, kind of an alien. He does have a standard Lego blaster in gray and a binocular piece on the end of it as his accessory, as his snare rifle. And he does have a unique exclusive head mold just to his character. Forlom has the same thing, just exclusive to his character as well. And it's in mostly dark nougat. He's got the silver printing for his eyes and his breathing apparatus. He does have breathing tubes because he has lung problems, and he doesn't breathe oxygen. He just breathes ammonia. We'll get to that later on when we get to the Mist Hunter. But he does have the new dress piece that was introduced in 2016 or 2017, I believe, in brown. He's mostly in brown and tan and dark nougat. Those are his main colors. Forlom is mostly just a monochrome gray and silver. But he does have detailed printing showing the weathered nature of his robes there, his Findsman kind of traveler's robes. And he does have back printing on his dress piece and the back of his torso. And also there's the back of his head and the back of Forlom's head mold. So, very awesome figure. I guess the only con of Zuckuss would be that he can't move his head and he cannot sit down because of his dress piece. But that is totally alright. And those are the two minifigures that come with this mock. You, of course, need them. Zuckuss is exclusive to the new Slave 1 from 2019, the 20th Anniversary Edition. You can also get Forlom in the same set as well. So there's some more information for you. It's awesome to finally have these two super underrated characters and very, very awesome. So those are the two minifigures, and let's take a look now at their ship, the Mist Hunter. And this thing is pretty awesome. Now, this is mostly based on a Republic frigate kind of design, like a transport ship, like Republic cruiser type model. That's why it looks kind of similar to that. But I'll give you a 360-degree view here. You can see the engines there. And this does have lots of unique colors. For example, the tan stripe is Zuckuss's detail. He also added the black, he also added the dark red and the dark brown to add some accents to it. And he also added the light green details that you'll see in a minute. He, Forlom added, mostly just the black and the dark gray and light gray. That's mostly his design. And, the landing gear is very, very simple. It's just, basically 1x2 is just stacked together, and you can just create a cool design there. And, you can see the mechanical details on the landing gear. They just fold up. And speaking of, well, let's take a look at the ship when it's in its flight mode, shall we? And here is, the stand. It's just the same as the other bounty hunter ship stands, but, we will take a look at that. I'm going to put this right here so I can put the ship in its landing mode. You can see these just kind of lift up, and this just kind of goes like that. And now the ship is in its flight mode, and nothing's really changed. It's just the landing gear is all folded up now. I'll give you a 360-degree view of that. It's kind of tilted upwards. And that's pretty much all I wanted to show you with that. It's not really that interesting. I just wanted to show you that in case you wanted to see it. And you can pause the video at any time if you want to see that in better detail. But let's put the ship back down to its landed mode. And we'll take another 360-degree view. You can see the front here. You can see two laser cannons. These are very, very dangerous. They look like they're just run-of-the-mill blasters, but really they're very lethal. Zuckuss and Forlom are quite clever characters, but very deadly weapons. These are not the only weapons that the ship has. But inside, you can kind of see inside of the ship when this is the cockpit glass, basically the viewport of the whole thing. And you can see inside, you can see something in there. I'll show you that in a little while. You can see some of the inside here, more, clear pieces here and some red right here. You can see it's not really that detailed. You've got some curved pieces right here. You've got some designs here, and mostly just the tan stripes, some black and gray and dark gray, and some dark red and dark brown, which is cool. You got the back of the ship, and you've also got the back of the entire ship. If you're wondering, these three are actually not engines. They're actually cargo containers. We'll take a look at that in a little while. These are the real engines down here, represented by light blue studs there. And these are just pink engines. I thought these give it a bit of a pop, especially at the back of the ship. But let's take a look at some of the details on top of the ship. We've got a sensor kind of dish right here with the sand green stud. That is pretty good. And we've also got mostly just light gray stuff here. Not really that special, but we do have some green bits right here, some gray. We've got some blue, and we've got the hatch that leads inside the ship, and we've got some green stripes courtesy of Zuckuss. You've also got some black studs right there, some grill details, pretty good details back here. But I try to make it fit as much greebling as possible. And in designing this, there's kind of a backstory. So my character Zenith, he actually owned this ship. It was called the Millennium Cruiser. It was a Republic cruiser at one point. But he had decided to give it to Forlom for his bounty hunting career. And when Zuckuss came along and tag teamed with Forlom, then the two began making their own version of this and customizing it. And eventually it became the Mist Hunter. So that's what you see before you. And we'll give you some more details up here. Nothing really too special here, but I just wanted to show this. And it's cool details, definitely. If you're looking closely, you can see some good details. I try to keep as much detail when designing the top of this as I could. And let's talk about some of the weapon systems. You can see these two laser cannons here at the front. We already talked about those. They're pretty powerful. And this right here is not a weapon. It's just a, sensor thing. But this over here, these right here are actually very key. And we'll talk about those in just a minute. Let me get to some of the weapons that this thing has. This does have two little blasters here. You can see here. And basically, what I want to do is take these off. And I will show that these red tiles just come off. They're not really, they are attached, but they're mostly for just for hiding these weapons. And I will put them on right here. So now the ship has 2 of its weapons. They're just projectile launchers, and they're pretty powerful. And they can angle, each of them. Unfortunately, they cannot angle left to right, but that is totally all right. The green stud is courtesy of Zuckuss once again. But these are pretty powerful. They're basically just stud shooters, but I thought I'd add them. They make a bit of a cool pop to the actual, you know, the weapons to the ship. On top here, we've got another spot for weapons. A couple weapons that I like to add, or a couple options here. We've got a quad laser cannon, so I'll show you what that looks like. It just attaches here and can angle and angle up. So, you know, you can angle it however you like, but that's what that looks like when it's like that. So it's very, very big and bulky, and that's when they really want to use firepower. But if you want to, you can switch that out with a ion cannon here, which goes right here. This is my preferred version, or this is my preferred option out of the two. It makes it look a lot sleeker, and I designed it to be that way on purpose, so it could be a bit sleeker and a bit more cool looking, a bit more sophisticated. But that's what that looks like. Of course, the ion cannon can just move freely. But those are the weapons. You've got an ion cannon here. You can switch it out with a quad laser cannon. You can switch between the 2 of them. Or you can use the projectile launchers. There's 2 on each side. And it also has 2 laser cannons on the front. So those are all the weapon systems. And it's a pretty heavily armed vessel, despite, you know, mostly being just for transport. But I will put that back on. And I will take this back off and put this back on. So now you're probably wondering how, if there's an interior to this ship, and yes, there is. Of course, my favorite thing to design for these ships is interiors. So let's get into how you access the inside. Well, first of all of these top things you see here, all these top, this whole top section is kind of just 3 sub-assemblies, and they just kind of come off. This main one just comes off really easily, and it's only attached with 4 studs, so that whole thing is just a big stub assembly on a plate. That comes off. You've also got this one at the back, which just comes off, just really simple. And you've also got this one here, which can come off like so. This one, this whole thing just comes off as so. It's a big assembly. And last, you've got this one, which just comes off. And now you can see the inside of the Mist Hunter is pretty packed. Now, to get inside the ship, normally minifigures, you know, they need a landing ramp of some sort. And the good news, it does have one. It's right here inside. And on the outside, it just kind of flops down. So when you just go like this, you push it down. There you go. And now the landing ramp is you know, extended. This is minifigure scale, at least the closest thing I could, you know, put to as minifigure scale. But before we look at the interior here, that's the inside of the Mist Hunter. But let's look actually at the back engines. These are the cargo containers where Zuckuss and 4-LOM usually put, you know, weapons or themselves even. These also act as escape pods as well. But there's 3 of them. They kind of just hinge open. All 3 of them do. And right now, 2 of them are empty, but that's just because, you know, the weapon systems are all out. But these can be used as escape pods, so if you wanted to, you can put 4-LOM and or Zuckuss into each one of them. It doesn't really matter, but you can put minifigures in there. They're life support escape pods as well, but they're mostly used for transportation and cargo. You can see the 3rd one is a bit different. You can fit a minifigure in there, although it is very tightly cramped. You've got some extra ammo for the projectile launchers that I showed earlier. And that's what this is. It's really simple, just a bunch of ammo. And you've got this 1x2, which is just a, it's for this, to switch out this for just a, you know, a regular 1x2. So if you want to take the sensor dish off, you can. inside there, it's pretty barren, just some lime green tiles in there, nothing too special. But on the back of this, Forlom and Zuckuss actually added the pink engines as a cool pop. I added those as a nice touch. So I wanted to make it as colorful as I could on the back. These are the real engines, these blue bits right here. They act as the real engines. And these are just the faux engines. So Zuckuss designed this so that, opponents would attack these instead of these. So these are like the faux engines right here. But if you want to know what they look like when they're off of the ship, they can be detached completely. So if you want to just take them off, you can. But it's nothing really too special. It looks really weird with them off. But that's that. And nothing really there's nothing really too major to go over here. But I do like the lime green stripes that Zuckuss added. Looks really good. But that's pretty much it for the back section. There's nothing really too special to go over. And this part does open as well. If you're wondering, this whole thing just lifts off. So that's the entrance to this cargo bay section. But let's take a look at the inside. Now, this is the interior. This is my favorite part of the ship. You've got a box here with the walkie-talkies, a couple of them in case Forlom and Zuckuss are away from the Mist Hunter. We've also got a box there with some credits inside. So if you're wondering what that is, you can I'll kind of zoom in there so you can see that. But that's pretty much it for this section. Now here's the landing ramp. You got some lime green tiles on the floor, some more right here. And this is where they enter the ship. You've also got, well, I'll close this off so it's not as distracting. But you've got a snare rifle, one of Zuckuss' snare rifles there on a clip hanging on the wall there. We've also got one of Forlom's classic blasters hanging on the top there. And on the other side, we've got another one of Zuckuss' rifles hanging on the wall. We've got another of Forlom's blasters on the wall there. And right here, you can see that this is actually an ammonia gas dispenser because Zuckuss doesn't breathe oxygen. Forlom doesn't need to breathe, anything. He doesn't need to breathe oxygen at all. It doesn't bother him. But for Zuckuss, his lungs, he needs to breathe ammonia because he's an alien called a Gand. So that's what that is. It just dispenses ammonia into the whole ship so that, he's safe and protected and he doesn't breathe the poisonous oxygen. But that's what that is. A little detail, you've got some chairs. You've got 2 chairs, of course, for Forlom and Zuckuss. You've got Zuckuss' chair right here. As I mentioned before, he can't really sit down, but I do like to have this detail anyway. I mostly just have him stand. But this is for, passengers, and they can swivel. These chairs can swivel around. This is Zuckuss' chair. You've got some details on the floor. You've also got Forlom's chair up here. This is his seat. It's very similar to Zuckuss' seat. Nothing really too special here. But this is where the front of the ship is. This is where the cockpit glass is. You can see my hand here. And you've got printed pieces all over this thing. You also got some glass clear pieces, some Lego clear pieces to represent the outside of the ship. And the cockpit canopy viewport. You've got 2 printed pieces here representing the speed, 82 and 28 there. You've also got 2 on the side representing the engines and the inside of the ships, the lights and stuff like that. And finally, you've got the control yoke at the front. And let me move this out of the way. You've got 3 printed pieces representing planets and systems in the galaxy. So that's what that is. And this control yoke can just move up and down. Nothing too special, but if you wanted to see a close-up look of that, there you go. Give you a last look at that printed piece and that printed piece. But that's pretty much it for this upper section. Inside, you got the black trim running around. This is what connects all the top sections. And some of my favorite details include these rifles up here, Forlom's rifles and Zuckuss' blasters hanging on the wall. I love that. And I also love the ammonia dispenser that I added recently. And I especially love the landing ramp. I think that's my favorite part of this because it can just freely close and open at will. And it looks really good, especially when it's down like this. And it's scaled to minifigures pretty well. So, if Zuckuss and Forlom want to, actually walk up there, they can. But that's pretty much it to this interior. Some of the wall details is just the same on the outside, so you'll get the same look on the outside as in the inside. But that's pretty much it for this interior. I'll give you a last look. There's the chairs, the controls, printed pieces all around. You got the cockpit glass there. You can see my hand. And you got the ammonia dispenser, the rifles on the wall, extra weapons in case they run out. And they're extra prepared. They're probably the most prepared out of all the bounty hunters. But you got the walkie-talkies, some credits, and the landing ramp, which I will now close. And I'll give you a last look at that if you want to see that. That's what that looks like. And I'll just close that up. It's an old piece. Fun fact for you, that old trapdoor piece is actually used on all of the bounty hunter ships, except Slave 1, of course. But let's kind of put these back into place. Kind of put these back into position. Lock, put these top sections back on. And that was pretty much it for this Mist Hunter showcase. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope the quality was pretty great. And I hope that I showed you everything you wanted to see. This is pretty much the end of the video here. Sorry for the long video, but I wanted to really show this ship in detail and everything it can do. So that's it. You got all the weapon systems. I'll just put them here so you can look at that if you like, some of the extra ammo. And that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. This is mostly taken from Legends continuity. So if you're wondering, yeah, it's taken from Legends books and stuff like that. But that was the Mist Hunter, my custom version of it. This is the least accurate of all the bounty hunter ships that I've designed, but that is quite all right. This is also my favorite one that I've designed. So it's a good thing to have this built. But that was my look at the Mist Hunter, Zuckuss and 4-Lum's starship. It is probably it's my favorite of all of them. It's also the most, it's probably the most interior heavy of all of them. But thank you so much for watching. We've almost taken a look at all of the bounty hunter ships. We just got one more to go, and then all of them will be up on the channel. So this was my look at my custom mock showcase of the Mist Hunter, the ship of famous bounty hunters, 4-Lum and Zuckuss. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope I inspired you to make your own Mist Hunter or own bounty hunter ships or just creations in general. Thank you so much for joining me. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video. Have a brick-tastic rest of your day. May the force be with you. And we will see you in the next custom mock showcase. Have a great day.